Has never stopped. This is my new page, and today we're going to talk about toxic people. We all have toxic people in our life, and sometimes we have toxic tendencies that we need to work on within ourselves. The holidays are approaching, and as an empath, I can feel the pressure already coming. You know, it's coming. I'm going to have to be around these people. But through the changes I've made in my life, I've distanced myself from toxic people, and it's helped me immensely. So I want to talk today about what is a toxic person. A toxic person can be very unsupportive. They usually want something from you. They always have hidden agenda. They can be abusive, and they usually have unhealthy emotional stuff within them that hasn't been healed. They could have been hurt themselves in their past, and they just refuse to do the work to heal themselves, or they're unaware that they have emotional problems, or they're so busy doing other things, being toxic in your life, then they don't have to deal with it. Some examples of toxic things in people are they're usually very manipulative. They always have hidden agenda. You got to be aware of that. It's very sneaky. They don't like to take responsibility for parts of their life. They usually like to complain about everything. Whenever you're around that person, you'll sit and listen just for a little bit, and here we go. Here comes the complaining. Woe is me. Every time you're around them, it's the same thing over and over and over again. They never apologize for their behavior because they're right, right? Why would they apologize for their behavior? Because they're right and you're wrong. And when you're around this type of energy, which is what a toxic person is putting off from their aura, it can put you into the defensive mode. Before I even, for an empath, I can feel the toxic person approaching my work, my home. When you see them in a store, I can feel their energy. So I'm automatically defense mode because I'm trying to push away their negative energy. And they usually will speak to you in a defensive tone because they're a victim. Oh, woe is me, my life is sad. I don't know what's going on. Nothing's going right in my life. I can't find anybody that loves me. I can't get a boyfriend. There's always an excuse to everything they do. I hate the people I work with. Oh, it's just terrible. This is what toxic people do. And they want to talk to you about it because your energy is usually better than theirs. And they know you'll sit there and listen. But to me, I've learned if you can remove toxic people out of your life, you'll be way more happier. And they limit you and hinder you from growing spiritually. How long are you going to live? Do you know? These are the things we've been talking about in the past videos. So why waste precious time on people that are toxic, that are only wanting to manipulate, abuse you, be unsupportive, and waste your time? Another example would be, the holidays are coming. We've known people forever. I've known them since my childhood. I should be kind to them all the time. You might have neighbors that are always wanting to come around, or if you don't invite them, or if you don't wave to them every time you go out in the yard, and you don't want to, if they're toxic, it gives you guilt. So this is what's difficult. You have to learn to set clear boundaries from toxic people and not feel guilt. This is what they do. It manipulates you. Because if you're sensing, if your intuition and your gut instincts are telling you, I don't like this person isn't helping me, I really don't enjoy being around this person, I dread hearing them, seeing them, listening to them, this is toxic at its highest. Pay attention, be aware, and set a boundary. You need a firm one. Another one would be, say you have a friend that you love to be around, but then they always have their sidekick, their spouse or child or whatever they drag along with them, and you're like, oh, why couldn't they just leave them at home and just come by themselves, because I have such a wonderful time being with this particular person, because they're not toxic, but their spouse or mate or child or whomever is with them that tags along is. So you always invite both because you feel guilty. So on that particular thing, you have to decide, do I want to just eliminate both of these people out of my life, or do I want to deal with that toxic person that tags along? Those are things you have to decide. I would try to limit the space that you have when you're around that type of thing. Don't spend hours with both of them. Maybe go out to dinner, not in your home. And if it gets kind of, like this is really not going anywhere, the toxic person's taking over the whole evening, then just excuse yourself and go home. Then you don't have to deal with it. Oh, and at work, here's another example. If you're at work and you see the same people all the time at work, and some people you really enjoy working with, and some people you don't enjoy working with them because they're very negative, they're not very forthcoming in their work, they're not very diligent in what they need to do, they're not supportive if you need help, or they don't do their job well. Those are the toxic people at your work. So you have to put some boundaries there any way that you can. If you're in an office and you leave your door open and anybody can come and go when they please and enter your space, shut the door, lock the door. And they want to come in, they'll let you know by knocking. And if you're busy and it's not that person you want to deal with, then just don't open it. Just say, I'm busy right now. You don't have to be rude or unkind, but you have to set firm boundaries with toxic people. Not everyone that is toxic. Toxic people have agenda. They have hidden agenda. And some are really good at hiding it, but I promise you, it's always hidden agenda. A good question to ask yourself is, think about it right now. Who do I hang around with? Who do I share my time with? And how does their energy make me feel before they come, while I'm around them, and when they leave? If you feel extremely exhausted after being around this person, they're toxic. If you dread them coming and to be around you, it's toxic. These things are just good little things to be aware. The other steps I talked about in the other videos of opening up these 2 chakras, they help you be more aware. And the things you really need to stay away from are the people that are the chronic opinion givers. No matter, whenever you talk to them, they know the answer to everything. They're the right fighters. Oh, I know the answer to that. And they'll sit and talk for an hour and a half about what they feel is right. And that's okay to have your opinion. But when you're pushing it and you're, chronic, opinionators, they're toxic. I'm sorry. They're not listening to anything that you have to say. They're just talking at you. The other thing to stay away is the person that always plays the victim. No matter when you see them, life has dealt me a bad hand. Can't get a job. My life sucks. Can't find a man. Can't keep a man. Why do you think that happens? It's because they play the victim. You can never, ever help someone that's playing the victim. They must realize they're playing the victim. They need to shift that mindset and fix their own problems. Also, when they play the victim, it makes them focus on negative things and not focusing on themselves, which is where they need to do the work. Because if it's always a problem, then maybe you're the problem. Not that or them, it's you. So if you're playing the victim, then, I don't have to do it. I don't have to deal with it, and I'm just going to keep complaining, and you're listening. So I'm going to keep right on talking. The next one is needy people. Gotta stay away from that. There's nothing wrong with helping people, giving to people, being kind to people. Don't take that the wrong way. Some people are just needy. They want everything that they can take from you. Thanksgiving's a good example. Christmas. You might invite some people over to your home. I've heard this from clients at work, at the salon, and they feel sorry for them because they're by themselves, or they don't have anywhere to go because of whatever issues they have in their own life. So they want to be kind and ask them over, which that was great. But the next year, they just kind of expect that they're supposed to be invited again and actually want to be there and infringe on your area. And if you don't set a boundary, they're going to be at your dinner table again. So needy people will take anything that they can get from you. They'll take your food, they'll take your time, they'll take, use your energy, they use your space, you know. They might even sit and just drink your beer because they don't want to buy their own beer. They can drink yours, so why not? These are needy people. They're users. They're users, and they'll use anything and everything that they can take from you if you have no boundaries set. Must have clear boundaries with toxic people. The other one is that there's other toxic people that like to blame everyone. Everyone's at fault. They just blame everybody, the whole world, for all their problems. Again, that's playing the victim, and they're not doing their work. Now, this is a tricky one. The gift givers. Sometimes you have a toxic person that all of a sudden will just give you something, and you're like, wow, they're actually coming around. No, they're not. No, they're not. They're being manipulative. They're going to give you a gift because they have hidden agenda, because they want still something from you because that boundary's not clear. So if they give you something, say thank you, but be aware, because that's not over. There's hidden agenda there. The energy vampires, you just got to stay away from those people. They got a lot of work to do within themselves, or they hold in a lot of trash. They don't cleanse themselves. They don't know how to get the trash out of them, which we talked about in the other videos. All their energy is just stagnant and heavy, and when you get in their space, it will suck the life out of you. Stay away from energy vampires. We also have those that love to gossip. Gossip's just bad. We all do it from time to time. Nobody's perfect. Myself has done it also. But some people, that's all they do is look for gossip and drama. It's not healthy. It's just counterproductive, and it's not being kind and loving to others. See, toxic people usually have a lot of emotional work. So anytime they want to talk about all the stuff they're blaming the world on, it keeps them from having to do their work on themselves. The things I want you to recognize is, if you're around toxic people in your life, how much time do you want to give these people? Distance yourself slowly, and then permanently maybe get them out of your life. Don't engage with toxic people if you can. Set firm boundaries. If you cut off that supply that they're looking for, what they're getting from you, that energy, whatever it is, their food, beer, time, whatever it is that they ain't got, they want, they'll go somewhere else when you cut it off because they can't get it. Remind yourself, not feel guilty, set boundaries. Pray for strength, guidance, and helping to remove toxic people from your life. That will give you the strength to do these things. Ask God to guide you in what you need to do and remove them from your life. He has done that for me, and I have asked. The bottom line, toxic people do not help you grow as an individual. How much time do you have left in this world before you die? My boyfriend a long time ago died at 23 years old in a car wreck. You do not know how much time you have left on this planet. Make sure you spend your time wisely with those that really love you, support you, uplift you, and are kind and generous to you, because that will help you grow spiritually, and you will also just emit better energy yourself. You'll be much, much happier if you do these things. Example is, one thing I've learned is, think about it being in school. If a toxic person is like in kindergarten, and say you're in the 12th grade, if you have your day off, why would you want to go hang out with a kindergartner? Wouldn't you want to hang out with somebody that's in college, or that's in at least, the 12th grade? Because then you can engage in deep-rooted conversations that you both can learn, because you're not taking from one another, you're giving to one another. So think of it that way. Everybody's on a different journey. Doesn't mean that they're bad people, but you really just must be aware what level they're at and how much do you want to give to a toxic person, because they will take everything that you let them take. Set firm boundaries. Follow this page, click the like button. There'll be more videos to come. This was the one my guides guided me today to do for you. And toxic people's tough. It's a tough one, but we all can do it. So be aware, pray, ask for help, and I'll talk to you soon. Have a great day. Thank you for listening to Experiences Never Stop by Rebecca Walters Hopkins.